Welcome to the Introduction to the STAAR Interim Assessments Training Module, Part 1. In this video, we will go over what interim assessments are and how they are different from other types of assessments, the purpose of STAAR Interim Assessments, and the test design that students will encounter. What are interim assessments? Interim assessments refer to a type of assessment that monitors student progress. These assessments may occur 2 or more times throughout the year and usually measure student performance on a broader span of student expectations. Interim assessments are an integral part of progress monitoring and help provide teachers with information in order to inform potential next steps to identify learning misconceptions, help them target specific intervention needs, and to support them in predicting how a student might perform on the summative exam. Interim assessments can come in many yet similar formats, such as a teacher's midterm exam, a district or campus benchmark, or the state-developed STAAR Interim Assessments. In addition to interim assessments, there are other types of assessments. These are formative assessments and summative assessments. Formative assessments refer to a variety of formal and informal evaluations of student understanding that occurs throughout lessons, units, and throughout the year, and they usually measure student performance on specific student expectations. Some examples are daily exit tickets, weekly quizzes, and verbal checks for understanding. Like interim assessments, summative assessments also measure student mastery of a broader span of student expectations, but they are different in their purpose. Summative assessments occur at the end of an instructional unit or course to determine the effectiveness of the program. Some examples are student portfolios, end-of-year exams, and the STAAR. Teachers assess students formatively throughout the school year to make immediate adjustments to lessons and immediately inform instruction. Because formative assessment is granular, teachers can quickly identify standards level information indicating where a student needs support. Interim assessment occurs strategically during a school year so that a teacher can predict how a student may perform on the summative exam, gauge if students are on track, and identify where intervention may be necessary. Most STAAR interim assessments are available twice, once during an Opportunity 1 window, and again in an Opportunity 2 window. Summative assessment, like the STAAR, occurs after all content is covered and helps teachers understand how successfully a student has mastered the year's curriculum. Remember, because summative and interim assessments cover a larger span of the standards, they usually do not have enough questions per standard to generate accurate standard level information. Formative assessments should be used for this purpose. We just identified what interim assessments are. Now let's move on to our second topic. We're going to discuss the purpose of STAAR interim assessments. STAAR interim assessments are free and optional. They are available to Texas public schools and open enrollment charters. They are offered online and include items developed with Texas teachers that are high quality and aligned to the Texas Essential Knowledge and Skills, TEKS. Teachers in their schools work hard to support students in intervention efforts. STAAR interim assessments are just one way in which teachers may track student progress and monitor students for intervention. And because STAAR interim assessments are untimed, teachers and campuses may structure the administration in a way that best fits their schedule. Teachers are an integral part of the state assessment item development process. Each year, teachers review items for the STAAR test to see if they are on grade level, aligned to the TEKS, and for other important quality measures. If the teachers approve a test item, it is field tested on a STAAR test. After being field tested, sometimes those items may be placed on an interim test. Because STAAR interim assessments are predictive of summative STAAR performance, it is important to administer them to students strategically throughout the school year. It is recommended that Opportunity 1 tests be administered in November for the most accurate predictions, and Opportunity 2 tests be administered in February. Because STAAR interim assessments are full scope, they have questions that cover the full breadth of a grade and subject's TEKS. The benefits of a full scope assessment is that it can be predictive, and it allows a teacher to track growth throughout the school year. However, students may encounter questions on content that teachers have not yet taught or the student has not yet mastered. A message will appear when a student begins a test that shares this information and urges them to simply do their best. Scope and sequence may vary by school or even class, so it is important as the teacher to consider your own scope and sequence when reviewing interim results. Keep in mind that the STAAR Interim Assessments scoring algorithm understands that for Opportunity 1 tests, students have had less instructional time, and for Opportunity 2 tests, they have had more time to receive instruction. Now, let's discuss the test design for STAAR Interim Assessments. Most STAAR grades and subjects are included on the STAAR Interim Assessments, except for a written composition component. This is because interims are designed to be scored quickly to provide teachers with data in real time. While a composition is not included, revising and editing questions are, and the interim assessment can still make an accurate prediction of STAAR performance. STAAR interim assessments are untimed, which means students can log out and come back to their test if needed. Schools can schedule an administration in a way that supports their needs, and students needing time accommodations can be easily supported. Just ensure that students click Submit when finished to view their interim results and the data provided. The Online Reporting Suite, or ORS, displays a prediction on how likely the student is to achieve approaches, meets, and masters grade level performance on the corresponding summative STAAR assessment. While the probabilities don't tell the whole story, they are a valuable tool that help teachers identify individual students or groups of students needing additional intervention. STAAR interim assessments are designed to give teachers immediate feedback on student progress. Teachers with access to the ORS can view the SCALE score to make comparisons to STAAR, the student expectation, question, the student's response, strengths and areas of concern, and how a student would perform on the STAAR. While teachers know their students best and should consider what content has been covered and what has not, this snapshot of detailed information allows teachers to have meaningful conferences with their students, parents, and colleagues to support important steps towards intervention. Multi-stage testing begins with a section of questions that is the same for all students taking the form. This section is referred to as Section 1. After completing Section 1, students are routed to an appropriate Section 2 test based on their performance in Section 1. Section 2 tests are either on a low, medium, or a high level. Science and social studies tests are linear, meaning all students will receive the same questions for their grade and subject. Reading and math interim test forms use multi-stage testing. This allows for a slightly shorter test and the ability to quickly target student groups and where they are at academically. A shorter test means less time testing and more time for instruction, something all teachers can appreciate. In this video, we reviewed the following topics: what are interim assessments, the purpose of STAAR interim assessments, and the test design for STAAR Interim Assessments. You may review the content in this video using the controls on the player. When you're ready, click the Next button to answer a few questions about what was reviewed in this video.